Hello everyone from Senior Vitality. This is Janelle from Community Tech Network and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to use email. I'm going to talk about what it is and also how to use the app that lets you receive and send email messages. So first off, what is email? Email is electronic mail. And in order to send and receive mail electronically, you would need an email account. An email account has already been created for you when the iPad was given to you. To find out what your email account is, you would need to open up your binder to the first couple of pages. It will be on a page that has account information, and on there will be your email account as well. So, as I mentioned, you need an email address, an email account, in order for you to send and receive messages. So what exactly is an email address? What does that look like? Well, in the same way that you would need someone's home address, for example, to send them mail, you need to have an email address, or they need to have an email address. You cannot send emails to someone else who does not have an email or an email address. So I will explain more exactly about what an email address looks like when I open up the app and show you how to write a message. So first, let's go ahead and go to the app. The app looks like a blue icon, and it has a white envelope on it. That's what it looks like right there. So, you might want to, search your screen if it's not down below on the dock, like it is here for me. So you might want to keep swiping. I don't know how many pages you have here. And then once you find it, go ahead and tap it. Okay. So this is what it looks like for me when I open it up. There's a left-hand side, and then there's a right-hand side. I'll explain what this right-hand side is showing, but it most likely will be different from what I have here. The left-hand side for me says Mailboxes. If you do not see that, you probably see something that says Inbox along the top. I will get back to this in a second, but I'm just going to explain here. Your inbox is the main place where you would receive email messages. So I'm going to start there, assuming that most people might have this screen here. If you are not seeing inbox along the top of this left-hand side, you will need to tap that back arrow right above it until you see this list here. And you will start with inbox. Again, that's the place where your primary messages will go. So any new messages that you receive will show up in this box. So now let me explain a bit about this app. This app will record all of the new messages that you've received as well as old ones. And then the right-hand side is where you can actually open and read a message. So here's some examples I have here. The left-hand side are showing me messages from different senders. And I can keep scrolling down so that I see past messages that have also been sent. On these messages, you can see the sender's name or the company's name, whoever is sending you emails. Basically, anyone who has your email address can send you a message. So for example, this is an account with Hoopla. It's an app that you will eventually learn about if you do not already. And then below that is the subject or title of their message. And then right below that will be a preview of what's mentioned in this right-hand side. So here's another example. This is from Why Things. That is, if you see a message like this, it's probably a scale that you will or have already received. And then again, that's the title. It says what your sleep heart rate can mean. And then below that is a preview of the message. When you tap on any one of these, you open them actually. So this one, it's selected in gray. That means that it is opened. And it will display on the right-hand side. Once it's opened on the right-hand side, you can see similar information along the top, the sender in bold, and then your email address actually will probably show up right below that. It will say to and your email address. So this one is mine. And then you can scroll down and read the message until you can't scroll anymore. That would be the end of it. So I'll show you an example on the left. I will open up another message simply by tapping it. It turns gray. And then I can scroll up just to keep reading what this message says. Okay. Something else to notice is that for every message on the right-hand corner here, you will see when it was sent. It might include the time, the day, if it's a message that you receive during the week, or the date if it's a message that was sent to you the week prior, and so forth. So here's one from 4/14/2020, for example. Okay, so that's how you look at this. You select a message by tapping it, and the right-hand side will display it. Okay, so that's how you read messages. How do you write one? On the top right-hand corner, you will find a paper and pencil icon. That is the compose icon. So if you tap it, this whole section will come up in the front of your screen. It will be a new message that will open up. You'll find a couple of sections here, and your keyboard comes up so that you're ready to type and fill out those sections. The first place that we are brought to is the to section. I know that because this blue line is blinking at me, and every time you see one of those blue lines, it means it's a place for you to type. In the to section, as I was explaining before, you would need to write the person's email address. For those of you who are more experienced, you might say, well, sometimes I just put the name of the person and that works. Yes, it does work. If you're more acquainted with something like a contacts app or it's like an address book, then yes, you can put in their name and the iPad would find it within its information, and that's enough. That's all you need. But I think most of us here have not really used the email app much, and so for now, all that would work is to type in the email address of somebody. So what is an email address? What does that look like? So an email address tends to have a name of some sort, and that name is something that the person that you're sending the message to, it's something that they have chosen. A username, that's what it's called actually. Oftentimes it's a form of their name. Some people like to also be more creative and fun with it, and so they'll have like a nickname or kind of title they want to go by, right? So for example, when I was younger, I had an email that was like Cherry Blossom, right? So that's not my name, but that is what I had. It was more creative, right? So there would be some name, and then there would be an @ symbol that follows. So that is an @ symbol right there in bold. And then after that, it would be the name of the company or provider that is holding this address or providing this email account. So one popular one is Gmail. Another one is like Microsoft. SBC Global was one. There's different kinds out there. And then at the end, in the same way that you'd see like a web address, it would have a .com, .org, .net, something like that. So, for example, we're going to put in Philip Gerson's email address. So, Philip's address is also made available at the end of every YouTube email. So you can also find it there. And I believe you can also find it in your binders. In that same page where your email account information is, and as well as other accounts, you should also find the contact info for Philip and Angela and some other Curry staff, maybe. So I will type out his email address and you guys can follow along with me. So his is P G E R S O N. So that says P Gerson. Philip, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your last name. And so that's the username that he created for his account, P Gerson. Okay. And then at, no spaces, Curry, CURRY, senior, SENIOR, center, CENTER. Okay. So that was the organization, right? So it's P. Gerson at Curry Senior Center. Okay. And then the last thing for his email is .org. Okay, so we're going to put a period. And then ORG. So it should read P. Gerson at curryseniorcenter.org. Okay. As you type, if any of you see a suggestion bubble that comes up here, it's just trying to help you write or complete the thing you are trying to type out. So if what you see in this little suggestion is correct, you can tap it and it will complete it for you. But you want to make sure it's correct. Okay, so if I tapped that, then it would fill it out for me. And emails are very, they have to be accurate. If I missed one letter here, then Philip is not going to receive this message. Okay, so once you have it all typed out, you will hit the return key on your keyboard, and it should turn blue. If for any reason it turned red, that means that there was an error. Okay? So that is the to section. Below that, you will see something that says CC or BCC. Basically, it stands for carbon copy. And then if you wanted someone to have a copy of the message, but not necessarily, make them know like, okay, I'm just letting you read the message. You don't have to respond to it. You would put them there. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. So if you want anyone to receive this message without letting the other people in this to section know that they're receiving it, or it'd be blinded for them. They wouldn't be able to see this person in BCC. Okay, if you tapped it, you would be able to choose whether or not they're going to be a carbon copy or a blind carbon copy. And just to clarify, yes, if you put someone in the CC section, in the carbon copy section, whoever is here in the to section is also receiving that message, and they will know who is in that CC. They would not know who is BCC'd. I won't get too much into this, and we're just going to skip that. We're not going to fill out anything there. Oh, one last thing I will mention is in the to section, you can put more than one email address. So if I wanted to send this message to Angela as well, I could also tap at the end of Philip's email and put in her email address. Okay. I'm going to jump down to subject. So the subject, yes, that's the title, the subject of the message. So, typically you want this to be as concise and as understandable as possible. So in this one, I'm going to put that it's a test email so that Philip knows what this message is for. Okay, so I will put in test email. And just to be more specific, I'm going to say for video, for this YouTube video. Okay. So once you type that in, you'll see this blank section right below. This is actually where your message goes. Now, you might see something within this box that says sent from my iPad. If you see that, just tap in the space right above it. That way your message goes right on top, and then the sent from my iPad, that will be just at the end of the message. That's called a signature. Okay, so once you've tapped the blank space there, you can type out a message. So, for example, I will say something like, hello, I'm using this for the video. Hope you are well. Something like that. It could be anything. So I can say, hi, Philip. And just like you would in a letter, you can, use your punctuation marks as well as hit the return key to space down. Put a comma. Then I'll hit the return key to space downward. See, my blue line jumped down below. Say, how are you? And just while we're here, if you wanted to access the symbols, you need to go to the symbols key on the bottom left. And here's some of the symbols made available for you. If you're still not finding the symbol that you need, there's one more option that appears, and it's this one. Tap it, and then the other keys will show up. So this left-hand side will always be changing as you tap on the different options for your keyboard. Okay. I want the question mark, so I'm going to tap on the question mark. Okay, and now I'm ready to just write regular letters, so I'm going to hit ABC. Okay, how are you? Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So once you finish your message, you'll go to the top right-hand side and you'll see a blue arrow. That is to send. So when you're ready, hit that blue arrow. One thing that I wanted to also explain when you write messages is that you are able to use the microphone to type out your message. So here's what I mean. If you were to write an email, you'd go to the compose button, fill out your to section. So again, I'm going to use Philip as an example. And I tap that because it was a suggestion and it was correct with the right email address. Fill out my subject. Test email. I go to the blank section right below that to type the actual message. But instead of typing it, I'm going to use the microphone to type it. So if I tap this microphone, it's going to listen to my surrounding and it will pick up any voice or any words that are being said and then put out those words into this space for me. So that's what I mean when I say that it types it for me. So I'm going to tap it and I'm going to say my message. Hi, Philip, comma. And as you can see, as I keep speaking, it listens to everything that I say. And as I speak, these white lines are, finding all of the sound waves, or it's trying to mimic that. And it does its best. It does make mistakes along the way. So I didn't say this. But yeah, so once you finish writing out with your voice, you will tap the keyboard on the bottom right and it stops. So of course I don't want to send all of this. But yeah, so that's how the microphone works. You tap it, you speak, and when you finish, you tap the keyboard. And make sure when you finish, you stay silent so that it doesn't record everything. Okay, so I'm going to tap the keyboard. And since I'm not actually going to send this, I'm going to hit the cancel button on the top left instead of the blue arrow to send. You'll see when I hit cancel, these two options come up. It says delete draft and save draft. Should I choose to hit this blue save draft option, it will go to my drafts box. Just in the same way that I showed you guys how to get to the inbox in the beginning, there we can also find this draft box and other kinds of boxes. Okay, so just to have an example, I'm going to hit save draft. Otherwise, if I didn't want this message at all, I would just hit delete draft. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. Okay. So once you have done that, I want to also show you a few other things. Should Philip respond, I would get a new message. And as I explained, new messages show up here in your inbox, which is where we started, right? So we haven't moved from here. It would show up on the top. It would show me the time and everything, all the details. And a blue dot would show up on the left. So this means I have an unread, unopened message. And I also just want to show you really quickly, I'm going to go back to the home screen. Whenever you see a number on the corner of your mail app, that number is indicating the amount of unread messages you have. So I have 1. And that's it. It's where the blue dot is. If I tap it, I will see the message. Now that I've tapped it, the blue dot is gone. So if I go back to the home screen, just to show you, I have no red numbers on the bottom corner there. And that makes sense because I opened it and therefore I have no new unread, unopened messages. Okay. So So say I wanted to reply. I would open the message just as I have. And on the bottom right, there is an arrow. That arrow, if you tap it, gives you a few options of what to do with that message. And you'll see on the top, it's reply, reply all, forward, archive. I'm just going to explain these first three. Okay? So if I wanted to reply to Philip, right, or the last person who wrote here, I would just hit that. Reply all is so that this message goes to everyone included in the message, not just the person that just sent me that last message. So in this example that I have, it's only Philip, so whether or not I hit reply or reply all doesn't really matter. Okay? But if there were others included in this message, I would probably see them listed here along the top. And I would hit reply all so that everyone sees my message, not just, again, the person who sent the message last, which would be the person in bold on the top. Okay, so I would hit reply or reply all. And then forward is so that I can send this message to someone else who has not been included in here. So for example, if I wanted to send this to you guys, right, you're not included in this message, I would hit forward and then put in your email address and hit send. Just like we did when we're first writing a message. So again, I'm just going to show you how to do reply. So I'm going to reply. And it just brings you down to this white space. Since I'm replying to a message, everything was already filled out by Philip, right? He sent it. So the to section is filled out. The subject is filled out. So I just need to worry about this blank space. So I type in my message. I would say, got it. Get my exclamation point. Okay. And then blue arrow, that means send. So out it goes. Since I sent it, or I replied to it, the reply symbol shows up on the left-hand side right there. It's very small. Okay, a few more other things. So say I wanted to erase any of these messages here. I can do that. I would go to the edit option on the top right-hand corner of this left section here. You tap it, and then these circles would come up, as they are. These circles are so that you can select which messages you want to move into the trash. So I would tap any of these. Okay. I could keep going down the list too, select different ones. Okay. Once I've selected the ones that I wanted, I would then move it into the trash. So if I wanted to, I've had this question before, if I wanted to erase all of them, I could do select all on the top left. That would check off every single one for me. Okay. I just want to delete these two, so I'm going to keep it like that. And I will go to moving this into the trash. So you hit move. And again, you have different kinds of mailboxes, right? Earlier I said that there was a draft box. There is also a trash box. So I'm going to hit trash. And it went into the trash box. Okay, so where were those boxes? How can I access them? How can I open them? On the top left, you'll see an arrow. And you will hit that arrow until you get to the mailboxes. So I'm going to tap it. And there, it says mailboxes, and here is a list of all of the different boxes that I have, including the drafts box. So any things that I have not completed, they would go there. Sent. Any messages that I've sent out, I can confirm that they were delivered if I just go there. I would see any messages I've sent out. Go back to the mailboxes on the top. Junk. This I will explain a bit more in another lesson, but this is about any malicious messages. Your mail app does its best to identify them for you, and they would go there on automatically. And then there is the trash box, which I just showed you. Okay. So anything that I've deleted goes here, and that also means that I have the ability to move these out of the trash box and into the inbox. So say I accidentally erased this message from Philip right here. I can move it out in the same way that I sent it to the trash. So you would go to edit. The circles come out so that you can mark them. So I'm going to tap the one that I accidentally moved here. Then I will go to the bottom where it says move, and then I would select the box where I want it to go, and that's my inbox. And there it goes. I just go back up to where it says mailboxes, or that back arrow. And I go back to my main page. I always say, if you're ever going into these mailboxes, just to avoid confusion, to always go back to the inbox before you close out your mail for the day. So I'm going to go back to inbox. And there is the message that I accidentally threw away and have moved back. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. There was a lot of things that I went over, but at least I hope that this brought you to a better understanding of what email is, and at least how to write a message and how to respond. Okay, so more coming up about email in the next lesson. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.